The Galactic Council's emergency session erupted in laughter when Admiral Torres presented humanity's contribution to the defense fleet. The massive warship Endurance hung motionless in space outside the station, its hull a dull gray that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Where other vessels gleamed with polished metal and energy fields, the human ship looked like a floating fortress of crude iron. This is what Earth sends to face the void swarm. Ambassador Crix's tentacles writhed with amusement. His species had mastered faster-than-light travel when humans were still throwing rocks at each other. A ship that moved slower than our cargo. Haulers? The Endurance was indeed slow. Its maximum velocity barely reached 60% of standard fleet speed. While the sleek Alterian destroyers could dance between asteroids, and the Nexan cruisers could outrun their own weapons' fire, the human vessel lumbered through space like an ancient beast. Captain Blake stood at the bridge of his ship, watching. The alien fleets practiced their maneuvers through the viewscreen. The other vessels moved in elegant formations, their hulls catching starlight as they performed complex tactical displays. His own ship remained steady, unmoving, a dark blot against the starfield. "Captain," Lieutenant Morgan approached from the communications station. "The fleet commanders are requesting we demonstrate our capabilities." Blake nodded slowly. He had expected this. The aliens needed to see what they were working with, even if they would not understand what they witnessed. "Signal the fleet to maintain safe distance," Blake ordered. "All stations, prepare for demonstration protocol 7. The Endurance began to move, its massive engines creating barely a whisper of thrust. The ship rotated with deliberate precision, each movement calculated and purposeful. What the alien observers could not see were the thousands of micro-adjustments being made every second, the constant recalibration of weapon systems, the methodical charging of defensive arrays. 3 days later, the void swarm arrived. The enemy came in a writhing mass of organic ships, each one larger than a city and covered in pulsing bioluminescent nodes. They moved with terrifying speed, their forms shifting and flowing like liquid nightmares. The swarm numbered in the thousands, blotting out entire sections of space. The Allied fleet responded immediately. Alterian destroyers zipped forward, their energy beams carving brilliant lines through the darkness. Nexan cruisers launched volleys of plasma torpedoes that bloomed like deadly flowers against the void. The combined firepower of 12 species filled space with light and destruction. The void swarm barely slowed. One by one, the swift alien vessels found themselves overwhelmed. Their speed, which had been their greatest advantage, became meaningless when faced with an enemy that filled every vector of escape. The organic ships began to close in, their massive forms dwarfing even the largest Allied cruisers. "All ships, fall back to defensive positions," came the panicked transmission from Admiral Zenth aboard the Alterian flagship. "Repeat, all ships withdraw to the secondary line." The Endurance did not move. "Human vessel, you must retreat." Admiral Zenth's voice crackled with static and desperation. "Your ship cannot possibly withstand their advance." Captain Blake watched the tactical display as red dots representing enemy vessels surrounded his position. The swarm had taken the bait, drawn by what appeared to be an easy target. The slow, ungainly human ship sat alone in space, seemingly abandoned by its fleeing allies. "All stations, initiate Protocol Omega," Blake announced calmly. The Endurance began to change. What the aliens had mistaken for crude armor plating suddenly shifted and reconfigured. Hidden weapons ports opened along the hull like mechanical flowers blooming in darkness. The ship's reactor, which had been running at minimal output to maintain the illusion of primitive technology, roared to full power. The first wave of void creatures struck the Endurance with enough force to shatter moons. Their organic weapons, designed to dissolve metal and corrupt energy systems, washed over the human ship's hull. The aliens watching from their safe distance expected to see the slow vessel torn apart. Instead, the Endurance absorbed the attack completely. Its hull, composed of materials unknown to galactic science, channeled the enemy's bioweapons into specialized collectors. The organic acids and energy-draining parasites that had devastated the other fleets were converted into raw fuel for the human ship's systems. Then the Endurance began to fight back. The ship's true weapons revealed themselves in a display that would haunt the galaxy's nightmares for generations. Particle beams that could core planets lanced out from hidden arrays. Kinetic projectiles accelerated to significant fractions of light speed, turned void creatures into expanding clouds of superheated plasma. Most terrifying of all were the human ship's defensive drones, each one a perfect killing machine that moved with deadly precision through the enemy ranks. But it was not just the firepower that made the Endurance fearsome. It was the methodical, calculated way the human ship dismantled its enemies. Where other species fought with passion or desperation, the humans fought with cold logic. Every shot was precisely aimed, every movement perfectly timed. The ship did not waste energy on dramatic maneuvers or impressive displays. It simply killed with mechanical efficiency. That the battle lasted 18 hours. When the guns finally fell silent, the void swarm had been completely annihilated. The Endurance floated alone in a debris field that stretched across millions of kilometers, its hull unmarked, its systems running at optimal capacity. Admiral Torres received the surrender documents from 7 different species within the week. The message was clear. Humanity's slow warship had not been a weakness. It had been a trap. The galaxy learned that day why humans had taken so long to develop faster-than-light travel. They had been too busy perfecting the art of war.